to all the distinguished participants of the Global Business Summit. Thank you, Vinayji, for giving me an opportunity to engage with such a distinguished group of friends. Thank you, Navika. Thank you, Nikunj. Friends, we are living in very exciting times. And as I was coming in, Navika ji felt I should touch upon where we see the world today and where we see India's role in the emerging economic challenges. And I think the Business Summit does give me an opportunity to talk about India's ambitions, new ideas, how we are forging partnerships and pathways to a better future for 140 crore Indians. And in a way, your theme, evolve, emerge, and expand, mirrors the India story. And I'll try to keep my address around the way we have evolved, the way we have emerged, the way we have expanded the India growth story in the last 10 years, now soon to be 11. I think India's rise has been across 5 important pillars. 1, our global leadership, particularly as a global soft power. 2, the economy, what we've done on manufacturing and investments. 3, innovation and entrepreneurship. 4, infrastructure development and consumption-led growth. And 5th, women-led development. And on all these 5 pillars, India has been able to showcase an emerging story which, as rightly the Honorable Prime Minister yesterday mentioned, is well on track to become the world's 3rd largest economy in the very near future, much ahead of what was estimated 10 years ago. In terms of global leadership, whether it is our successful hosting of the G20, our navigation of the various problems, conflicts that other parts of the world were facing, be it the Ukraine-Russia crisis, be it the Palestinian-Israeli situation, in every score, handling of the COVID crisis, expanding and forging new partnerships and relationships across the world, new free trade agreements with the developed world, Australia, UAE, Liechtenstein, Iceland, Switzerland, and Norway. The progress we are making in other engagements with Europe, and the progress we will soon make with the United States of America as we proceed to finalize a trade deal by fall of this year, are all reflective of India's growing relevance at the global stage. And it's no mean achievement that when the world is struggling with significant possible disturbance on the trade front, on the economic front, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was the first leader of a large economy to be invited to the White House. You saw the tremendous goodwill that Prime Minister Modi has earned for India, for 140 crore Indians across different administrations. And you saw how Prime Minister Narendra Modi was able to ensure the successful future of our international trade, of our growing business with around the world, and the US being the world's #1 economy. It's something that I have always felt would be a natural partnership between the two countries, which we hope to now culminate in the next 6 or 7 months. In fact, I still remember, and I've possibly said it on the same stage here earlier, that when the US ambassador under the first Trump administration came to meet me, I think it was 2017 possibly, in the course of the conversation, my reaction to him was, I wonder why the US and India cannot expand trading relations, cannot enter into an agreement to support each other's economies, particularly given that we are two democracies, we are two countries which believe in the rule of law, in transparent administrations and governance, and we both are against non-market economies, which often disturb the manufacturing ecosystem or businesses around the world. At that point of time, the general refrain used to be the Congress will not allow the United States to enter into new trading arrangements. But what the Prime Minister has brought back with him, an agreement or an understanding to enter into a trade deal by fall of this year, I think gives a lot of confidence and a lot of relief to every business person in the United States and in India who believe that together we can truly transform world trade, together with our competitive strengths in different areas, we can truly work as two friends, as two partners for progress and prosperity. And therefore our growing global relevance, and there are so many countries around the world who have already recognized Prime Minister Modi's popularity and his contribution to the world. I think 19 awards at last count by different countries and multilateral organizations have been conferred on Prime Minister Modi. 19 awards. I don't know of any other leader who can boast of so many awards. And each one of them, the Prime Minister has taken in all humility on behalf of 140 crore Indians. In the same breath, if you look at the kind of relations that he's been able to build across the world, whether it's different partners, whether it's different countries who don't see eye to eye, India has always been at the forefront of trying to support global peace, global prosperity, dialogue, diplomacy, and through the last 10 years, I think India's own position around the world has significantly upped what we had inherited in 2014. In fact, when any of you goes abroad, I'm quite sure that the respect that the Indian passport gets today, we have never experienced in our life before. So we really need to be very, very proud to be an Indian today, and we can say that we will be at the forefront of global prosperity going forward. As a soft power also, our services exports, our services engagement with all the top large corporations around the world continue to grow. At last count, about 1,800 global capability centers operating out of India. The trust which India and Indian businesses earned across the world during COVID, when we met every single international obligation that we had made, be it in supply of goods, be it in back office operations, be it in technology, be it in design, innovation, every single commitment that India had made to the world, we were able to meet on time, working from home, rejigging our processes, allowing export-oriented units to continue to work. Every single step was taken to ensure that we earn the goodwill and trust of the entire world. And I think it is that trust that is giving us a payback when we are seeing not only design in India growing, not only make in India growing, but serve from India also becoming a major India story in the last few years. For that matter, I think one learning out of COVID has been that everything need not be out of local presence. There's a lot that can be done literally from a third location, which is what we call work from home during COVID. And that has translated today to outsourcing a lot of processes to other countries. And India has been one of the largest beneficiaries of outsourcing, which has gone across borders. And India and young Indians, we produce the highest number of STEM graduates every year. And by the way, 43% of them are women. And they are the ones at the leading edge of providing services to the world, demonstrating India's growing soft power. In terms of the economy, in terms of manufacturing and investment, I think the infrastructure-led growth story and now the consumption-led growth story, both of them collectively are contributing to an economy which powers on us. While we do have a trade deficit, in goods, we make up a large part of it through trade surplus in services. At the same time, we have about 130 billion, the largest in the world, coming in as remittances. We have several invisibles like tourism, another thrust area going forward, which will create job opportunities and business opportunities in the country. All of these put together leave us with a current account deficit which is barely 1.1% of our GDP. And in that context, our foreign exchange reserves today will last us for more than 10 years. And therefore, they see the India story as an oasis of stability, continuity, and predictability in an otherwise very turbulent world. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is supporting manufacturing. The Make in India story now going to be led by a national manufacturing mission, which will come up with newer ideas and address the challenges that manufacturing in India face, MSMEs or otherwise, and ensure that making in India becomes more competitive, logistics costs is well under control, and quality, which is defining India's manufacturing journey today, will be our calling card when we go out there to the world and support global desires, global consumption through the Make in India program, also becoming Atmanirbhar, self-reliant in our own demand that we have in the country. And this story of a strong economy, a big thrust on manufacturing, record foreign direct investment coming into the country is all supported by the twin pillars of infrastructure-led development. And we all recognize that infrastructure investments almost have a 3x multiplier impact on the economy. This budget has ensured a lot more money in the pocket of Indian middle class, almost $12–13 billion additional will be available to our middle class for consumption. And most of us in this room recognize that consumption money is money spent on all the good things of life, also have a 2–2.5x multiplier. And when you spend nearly $130 billion on investments in infrastructure, then you leave much more money in the pocket of the middle class. Collectively, you're giving a big thrust to job creation, giving a big boost to demand for goods and services, which leads to entrepreneurship, greater business opportunities, and to investments in manufacturing to support that big demand. Sometimes I get journalists who keep asking me, are you worried about the growing imports? And I say, no, I'm in fact very happy to see our imports growing, because that is what will encourage our Indian investors and the world investors to come to India and invest into manufacturing. It's that assured demand that generates the confidence to invest in India, support job creation, and support economic activity. So collectively, when we look at the India story in the context of a very, very well-designed, very well-planned effort to promote the economy, to promote job creation, to ensure inclusive growth through the length and breadth of the country, ensuring that every person living in India, every citizen of India, across the length and breadth of the country, has the basic needs of food, clothing, shelter, electricity, good connectivity through roads, airways, now inland waterways in a big way, clean drinking water, good health care, good education. As you ensure that you are reaching the basic needs to every single person living in India, you are encouraging a young generation of aspirational Indians. And with a young population, less than 30 years old, with 2/3 of our people in the working age group, today we are boasting of an aspirational young India, driving growth, driving the economy, driving our effort to take prosperity to the last man at the bottom of the pyramid. And friends, these are the youngsters who come up with innovative ideas. They come up with a new entrepreneurship zeal. After all, we launched Startup India only about 9 years ago. And in this short span of 9 years, we have become the world's third largest startup ecosystem, boasting over 115 unicorns, 160,000 registered startups. I don't know how many more are experimenting with new ideas and new ways of making ease of doing business or ease of living on the ground possible for our people. And I think collectively, the innovation spirit, the spirit of inquiry that our young men and women are displaying, the job creators who are not just seeking jobs but are actually out there with newer ideas, are the ones who are defining the growth story, are the young people, men and women, who are ensuring that India paces on to become a $30-35 trillion economy in the next 22-23 years. And friends, lastly, it's women-led development, which the Honorable Prime Minister has focused right since 2014. He recognized that India cannot develop until we ensure two very important factors. One, we ensure that all of India develops. Eastern parts of India, Northeast India play an equal role in the growth story of India. And over the last 10 years, that has been a focus area of the country and this government to ensure more regional parity and more growth across the length and breadth of India. But all of this would be incomplete unless we have the women of India right at the forefront of our development journey, and particularly in the formal economy. I remember we had about 11% women in the formal workforce about 10 years ago. Our effort is to take it right up to 45-50%, so that women contribute, and the contribution that many of them are already doing also starts getting recognized and captured in our statistics to ensure that every woman in the country knows that she has an opportunity to support India's growth story. And over the last 10 years, empowering our women folk, whether it is through public welfare activities, whether it's through skill development activities, the larger enrollment of women in our schools and colleges. As I said earlier, 43% of our STEM graduates are women as we speak. Whether it is through ensuring that women are given a focused attention to ensure that they are not required to be only looking after the day-to-day course of life or existence, but have the freedom and ability to provide for their families through growing incomes and growing consumption expenditures available for them to do, to provide for a better future for their children, for their families. I think this journey has really taken off very admirably. Our women folk are contributing a much, much larger share to the formal economy, and be it our effort to give them greater political heft through the reservation for women in the parliament or state legislatures, be it our effort to ensure the rights of the girl child and improve our ratio between men and women, whether it's our effort to ensure that every girl child gets good schooling, gets good quality health care, so that she continues until higher education, in most cases available free of charge for the girl child, whether it's our effort to include them through financial inclusion, through registration of properties in women's name being encouraged, encouraging them to get into activities. Earlier, the preserve of men only. I think it's been a holistic effort which Prime Minister Modi, through different initiatives in the last 11 years, has brought to the table, whether it was his effort to take digital connectivity through the length and breadth of India. And I heard the telecom minister yesterday speaking about the world's fastest rollout of 5G in the country, getting into development of an indigenous 6G technology which will make communication 5 or 6 times faster, whether it's our initiatives for financial inclusion, taking a bank account to every adult in the country, now going into ensuring that even children have bank accounts, whether it's providing financial security to our sisters and daughters, whether it's providing good education through the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao program, whether it's the skill development initiatives. I recently launched in my own constituency a very unique initiative where we are paying women above 18 years of age a stipend and connecting them with the insurance ecosystem. Bima Sakhi Yojana. Bima is insurance. Sakhi is friend. Making our sisters, our young women, insurance agents, teaching them about insurance, teaching them about this power of having social security through insurance products, and helping them through a paid program where they get a stipend for the initial 3 years, helping them to learn the nuances of insurance and making them insurance agents to get more and more people a better understanding about social security. Now, these young women with not much formal education, but the personality that they bring to the table, and I've had opportunity to engage with some of them, is absolutely remarkable. The way they connect with people, the way they are able to express themselves, the way they are able to take the message of social security. I dare say none of us men in the room would be able to do half as good a job. I just hope the male LIC agents don't get unhappy with me. But I dare say the contribution that my sisters and our women in the country are doing is truly remarkable. And with women-led development, I don't think there's any power on earth which can stop India from becoming a developed nation, a prosperous nation by 2047. Let us all work together as a team, as Team India, cutting across political parties, cutting across individual states and center. I think we all have a role together, because together we can take the country to greater heights. Sustainable development and inclusive development, the two mantras of this government, will determine the success of India in the years to come. And I think engagements such as the Global Business Summit by the Times Media Group is truly a great opportunity to exchange ideas, to understand views, to learn from the experts in the economic space, and to get feedback from our stakeholders so that we can also do our job better in the years to come. Thank you very much.